Hello, Let's for Life here, bringing you guys a brand new deck profile. This time around we got Destiny Heroes. So I played this in my second most recent duel video on here. I freaking love Destiny Heroes. A lot of you guys know that. They're one of my favorite decks in the game. And with the release of Isolde, I felt like I could finally return to the deck because the deck really was hindered by Master Rule 4 quite a bit, especially since it started trying to be a fusion deck, which I have mixed opinions on. But however, funnily enough, this is a fusion focused build of the deck. It's got mostly fusions, a few links, and a couple of seizes as well. So enough dilly-dallying, let's get on with the deck profile. First and foremost, we got triple Destiny Hero Drill Dark. So I remember people being super upset about this card, but he's really, really good. So whenever he's normal or special summon, you can special summon any Destiny Hero from your hand with attack less than or equal to his own. So that's literally almost everything. The only Destiny Heroes he can't summon are Dogma, Plasma, and any of the other ones that can't be special summoned because oh yeah, that and Dasher. So like literally just the big three boss monsters. Two boss monsters and one kind of mediocre boss monster. But still, he can summon literally everything in the deck off of his effect, barring a few circumstances. So just being a really good card overall. And then he's got Piercing. I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand with the drilling. It would have been really weird if he did not have Piercing. But it's also just kind of there. Next up, we got triple Destiny Hero Diamond Dude. Diamond Dude is, well, quite honestly, one of the best Destiny Heroes. He's, as everybody should know, you excavate the top card of your deck. If it's a normal spell card, it goes to your graveyard, and next turn you can activate it for cost free. Otherwise, it goes to the bottom of your deck. So really, really good. Because of this, we do run quite a few number of normal spell cards. Very, very potent card. And fun fact, for the longest time, he was the strongest non-tribute Destiny hero. That's so sad. Next up, we got one of the honestly most underrated Destiny heroes, Dynatag. Dynatag is a hand trap with a second utility in graveyard, which is just great. So while he's in your hand during damage calculation, whenever you would take damage from a battle, you can pitch him from your hand, negate all that damage, and then both players take 1,000 damage. Now granted, that does still do you damage to you, but however, it would take, like, let's say you get attacked directly from a Blue Eyes, it drops 3,000 damage to 1,000, and then also burns your opponent as well, which can come up really, really useful. And because it burns both players at the exact same time, it can result in ties, which was even showcased in the anime, which is funny. Then if it's in the graveyard, you can banish it, target a Destiny hero, gains 1,000 attack power. Great card overall, really, really useful. Generally speaking, this is what I usually search off of Isolde because you can't use the monster effects during that turn that you search off of her effect. So it just really sets up for next turn so I don't have to worry about getting OTK'd, which is just really, really helpful. Next up, we got one of the other big runner-ups for, contestants for being best Destiny hero. And that's, of course, Malicious. So Malicious, everybody knows like he does. If he's in the graveyard, you can banish him, summon another copy of him from deck. Really good card. I can't really express how good he is because everybody knows how good he is. Very, very useful card overall. And then we got triple Shadow Mist because Stratos is still banned for some silly reason. Shadow Mist also just fits better with the deck with her being a Dark Warrior. Really helpful with that matching the typing stuff because that makes it even better for, well, Mask Change plays. And then also, of course, not only does she have the searching effect on Versailles graveyard, but if you special summon her some way, somehow, you get to, well, of course, search out a Mask Change. Really helpful card overall. Hopefully one day we will get Stratos, but I kind of doubt it at this point. Next up, we got Fission Hero Fion. Fion is an incredibly underrated card. I like him a lot. So whenever he's normal summon, you can send any hero monster from your deck to the graveyard, like for instance Shadow Mist. And then once per turn, you can banish a hero from your graveyard, add a polymerization from your deck to your hand. Because this is the fusion aspect, well, the fusion version of the deck, generally speaking, you can normal summon him, send Shadow Mist, get search, then use his effect, banish Shadow Mist, get another search. Really, really good card. Basically makes it to where you go +1, or is that a +2? I don't know. You aren't really using any resources and you still have your monster, so I guess it could be considered +2. Really good card overall. It becomes like your opponent's primary target for Ash and Draw and Lock, which is a bit annoying, but oh well, can't have everything all the time. Next up, we got one of the two main boss monsters, and that's, of course, Destiny Hero Dogma. I know, like, a lot of people don't like Dogma, but Dogma is one of my personal favorite heroes. It was my first hero monster I ever owned, and he's just really, really cool. So what does he do? Well, you can spell summon it from your hand by attributing 3 monsters you control, including at least 1 Destiny hero. You have to spell summon them that way. And then during your opponent's standby phase, they lose half their life points provided he was summoned the previous turn and stayed face up. Then we got the better of the 2, Destiny Hero Plasma. Plasma does basically, well, the same summoning requirements, needs to attribute 3 monsters, but it can be any 3 monsters, not having require a Destiny Hero like Dogma. And then all monsters your opponent controls have their effects negated, and once per turn you can suck up one of those monsters. He gains attack equal to half of that monster's attack power, but he can only have 1 of those monsters on him, which is kind of a bit of annoying, but hey, you can always suck up another monster if someone happens to want you equipped. Really good card overall. And then we got 2 Destiny Hero Celestial. So my only real issue with Celestial is that you can't use this effect right away. So in the graveyard, if you have no cards in your hand and it's been at least a turn since he's been in there, you can banish him and another Destiny Hero to draw 2 cards. He also has a nice little popping effect where if he attacks, you can destroy 1 face-up spell card your opponent controls and then burn them for 500. Comes really in handy against Pendulum Magicians and field spell-oriented decks like ABC. I really wish he got boosted by 500 like he did in the anime whenever he does that, but I digress. Still really good, helpful card. Then we got like one of the most underrated Destiny heroes like ever. I know I said that about Dynatag earlier, but oh my god, Destiny Hero Dreamer is really, really good. I even underestimated him. Like, I didn't realize how good he was till I started playing Duel Links again, and I got him in Duel Links, and it's like, oh my god, this thing's amazing. So what does he do? So while he's in the graveyard, if a Destiny hero battles an opponent's monster, you can spell summon from your graveyard and make the damage 0, and then that monster that was battling can't be destroyed. Then he gets banished instead of going back to the graveyard. So he's literally basically just a really cool battle protector. He can save your boss monsters, he can save your little guys, you can save your fusions, and then if you use them for like an Exceed summon, which I don't actually play any level 1 rank 1s in here, but you can if you want to. There's like just, he's the only level 1 in here, so I don't think it's really worth it. So you can obviously skirt the whole banishing thing, but he's really good for making link plays, for protecting your monsters, and for just doing other stuff. Really good card overall. Then we got 1 Dasher. Dasher, you primarily just pitch in graveyard, so they can use this grave effect where if you draw a monster for your draw phase, you can reveal it, special summon it. Comes in handy with spamming out the field, and also, of course, if you draw a Shadow Mist and spell summon her, you'll get to search out a Mask Change. Really good card overall. 1 Decider, okay, so if this guy's effect was not a once per duel card, he'd be a mainstay 3 of instantly in his deck, but no, he's a once per duel, which is annoying. So what does he do? Well, he can't be targeted by attacks from a level 6 or higher monster, and then during the end phase of the turn he was normal summon, you can add a hero monster from your graveyard to your hand, and then if he's in your graveyard and you would take burn damage, you can make that damage 0 and add him from your graveyard to your hand. So he recurs himself, he protects himself from level 6 or higher monsters, and he recurs other monsters. He has 3 really good effects overall. His effect in graveyard actually has a really nice interaction with Dynatag, where whenever you activate Dynatag's effect to burn both players for 1,000 and negate damage to 0, you can use Decider's effect in graveyard to make the damage you would take 0, and then add them to your hand, so then you don't have to take the damage, but your opponent still takes that 1,000, which is hilarious, because they still take the damage, but you don't take anything. Really good card overall. And then I play 1 Doom Lord for the target of Over Destiny, which is a card we'll get to here shortly. Doom Lord, I feel like, is the best of the level 3 Destiny heroes. If Captain Tenacious had more ways to, well, protect himself other than D-Shield, which is terrible, I would be more inclined to use him. But Doom Lord is really good spot removal. Once per turn while he's in attack position on your field, you can banish 1 monster your opponent controls until the second of your standby phases after activation. So like, let's say your opponent has like, I don't know, a Firewall Dragon, which would be a terrible target for his effect, just saying. You can banish the Firewall Dragon for 2 turns. The only downside is that you can't attack the turn you use his effect, which is very obnoxious, so I don't really use it too much often. He's just mainly a target for Over Destiny, so I can use him for Link, Tribute, or Fusion Material, just in case. And then next up, now then going on to the spells, we got triple D-Draw. Kind of goes without saying everything except for Fion and Shadow Mist is a Destiny hero, so we got plenty of targets. Then since everybody is dark, I got triple Allure in here as well. So that's 6 draw cards. 8 if you count Celestial as well, which is pretty nutty. This deck can get going on the draws really, really crazy. I freaking love it. And then because this is the fusion aspect, well, the fusion build of this deck, I got triple polymerization in here. You know, pretty bare bones. The deck does not have a good archetype specific fusion card yet. I do not count Defusion as a good card, okay? I know some people really think that Defusion is good. It is not. Do not ever consider playing Defusion. Just do yourself the favor and don't play Defusion. You're better off playing Polymerization, which is searchable off of Fion, okay? It's just a lot better than Defusion. Next up, we got triple mask change. Pretty simple, you know, it's just, you know, making Dark Law. Dark Law is pretty good. Then we got 2 Over Destiny. This is the card I mentioned earlier. Over Destiny is a pretty simple card, and honestly, for a long time, I thought it wasn't real until I found one in real life. So Over Destiny, you target 1 Destiny hero in your graveyard, special summon a Destiny hero from your deck whose level is less than or equal to half of that monster's level, and then destroy that monster during the end phase. There's no once per turn on here. There's no, like, you can only do this card, or there's no restrictions. You just target any of your high level Destiny heroes and then summon out a low level Destiny hero whose level is less than or equal to half of that monster's and summon it, which is really good. So if you target like a dead Dogma or a dead Plasma, whether you pitch them for a D-Draw or you summon them and they got like Darkhold or Torrential or something, you can target it, summon out any of your level 4 or lower Destiny heroes. They can still use their effects, they can still attack, they just get destroyed during the end phase. So it's a really good combo player, and I'm honestly considering playing 3 because this card is just so good overall. But right now I feel like 2 is a bit better just because 3 can be a bit cloggy. I don't know, maybe if Destiny heroes get more support or we get more good links for that the deck can really utilize, I might bump it up to 3 just because it's such a good combo card. Next up, we got 1 Rhoda. Destiny heroes, aside from Shadow Mist, don't have their own searcher, unlike the E-hero archetype, which, you know, E-call. 1 Monster Reborn, because this deck is so spam heavy. It's just, I mean, why would you not play Monster Reborn? It's legal for the first 7 years. I don't see a reason not to play it. Then 1 Fool's Burial for, well, just because of how grave reliant Destiny heroes are. Now then, moving on to the extra deck. As I said, this is the fusion focused build of the deck, and so this is primarily fusions in the extra deck. And of course, I'm probably going to do an Xyz focused build later on or something. I don't know. I want to hear your guys' opinions and stuff though. So first and foremost, before we get on to the good stuff, we gotta get the Hindrance of Master Rule 4 out of the way with good old Isolde. So this card is actually like really good. Its second effect is completely irrelevant, but its first effect is the main show. So it needs 2 warrior monsters to go into. Everything in the hero archetype is a warrior, with the exception of like 2 random E-heroes that are not warriors. But however, everything else is, so this is super easy to summon in a deck, especially in Destiny Heroes, which has just so many swarming capabilities. So you just are easily able to make her. That opens up 2 zones right then and there. And then whenever she is summoned, you get to add any warrior from your deck to your hand, but you cannot use that monster or cards with that monster's names or effects until the end of the turn. So that's why I mentioned that, oh, grabbing Dynatag is like the best one to grab off of her, because then you can use Dynatag's effect during your opponent's turn, which is really great. And she has an effect involving equip spells, which I don't play any, so it's literally irrelevant. Next up, so now then for the fusions, we got 2 Destiny Hero Dangerous, which, is it just me or does he look like a Super Saiyan Doom Lord? I don't know, it just kind of bugs me. Anyway, so he's level 6, he needs a Destiny Hero and a Dark Monster to go into. Once per turn during your opponent's turn, you can pitch a card, send any Destiny hero from your deck to the graveyard, and all Destiny heroes gain 200 attack for each Destiny Hero in your graveyard. So this card is really good. Not only is its summoning condition super easy, I mean, heck, you can even fuse Shadow Mist with any of your other Destiny Heroes to make this guy, which then of course triggers Shadow Mist effective search. But however, because he pitches and sends, that makes it very easy to load up the graveyard with like your Dasher, your Malicious, your Dreamer, your Celestials, everything that you want in the graveyard, you can easily get into the graveyard thanks to his effects. But the attack boost is really, really nice. Destiny Heroes, one of their big trademarks is that they have low attack but high defense. Hence why Diamond Dude has 1400 attack and 1600 defense. And even why the newer ones still have subpar attack for the most part. So this guy boosts it up, helps with the OTK, helps with protecting your dudes during the battle phase of your opponent's turn. Stuff like that. Really good card overall. Then we got 2 Masked Hero Darklaw. Really good card overall. I don't really need to explain that at all. Everybody knows what he does. Just being a one-sided Macrocosmos and picking out cards from your opponent's hand. Really great card in general. And then we got Double D Hero Dystopia. I know a lot of people don't like Dystopia too much. I like him a lot. I like his design. His effect is pretty cool, and he's super easy to summon. He needs 2 D heroes to go into, and then whenever he's fusion summoned, you can target 1 level 4 or lower Destiny Hero in your graveyard, burn your opponent for damage equal to that monster's attack power, and then if his attack is higher, or sorry, not higher, but just different from his original attack, you can have his attack become its original attack, and then you can pop a card on your opponent's field. Really good card overall, great disruption, great adding burn that comes up more often than you'd think. Really good card overall. My only real issue with this thing is that it doesn't really do much to advance the game's game state, because that you don't really make him too much, you make Dangerous more than anybody else. So he is good, but he's not like the greatest thing in the world. And neither is his advanced form, Destiny Hero Dystopia. So this thing's pretty cool. He's severely hindered by Master Roll 4 though, which really is annoying. So he needs a Dystopia plus a Destiny Hero to go into. Pretty simple, it's a fusion scaling, which isn't the greatest thing in the world, but he's still pretty helpful in a sense. So whenever he's fusion summoned, you can fusion summon a Destiny Hero from by using monsters your opponent. By using monsters you control or in your hand. And then that monster, let's see here, once per turn, quick effect, you can target 1 monster in the field, make it unable to be stripped in battle or card effects. If you're doing it, the player takes any battle damage from attacks involving that monster, and then that just lasts until the end of the turn. Yeah, it's really kind of interesting how they did this, and they released in Battles of Legends Light Revenge like a month before Master Roll 4 kicked in. They did that with a lot of decks, which is really annoying. Thank you, Konami. But Dystopia is still useful in a lot of sense, mostly because of his second effect being able to just basically be a kind of like one-man Waboku, being able to make any of your Destiny Heroes or heck, any monster, just unable to be destroyed. So if you can get him and a Masked Hero Darklaw out, again, not the easiest thing in the world, but he can protect your Darklaw very easily. And of course, you can have Dreamer protect this guy, which again shouldn't come up too much because he's 3K, which is just great. And then we got 1 Masked Hero Anki, or sorry, am I pronouncing that right? Yeah, Anki, something like that. Just another target for Masked Heroes, so he can attack directly, and if he kills a monster in battle, you can search out a Mask Change. Really fun thing to just kind of mess around with, like being able to run over something in battle, search out a Mask Change, drop Mask Change on him, turn him into a Darklaw, attack directly for 24. Really great in general. Then we got 1 Vision Hero Adoration. This card is really underrated. So once per turn you can target 1 hero you control and 1 monster your opponent controls. Drop your opponent's monster's attack by that hero that you targeted. Attack power. You can't target himself with his effect, but you can still target like your Dogma or a powered up Dangerous, so that then you can drop your opponent's monster by basically all the way down to 0. Really powerful card. And then 1 Vision Hero Trinity. Trinity is pretty cool. He needs 3 heroes to go into. During the turn that he was fusion summoned, his attack power is doubled and he can attack 3 times. He just can't attack directly. So he becomes 5k, he can attack 3 times and he can't attack directly. Really powerful card, obviously. Very, very obnoxious just for being able to just clear out your opponent's board. You don't have to worry about, really much of anything in terms of like, not being able to run over stuff. It does suck that he can't attack directly, but for having 5,000 attack power and being able to attack 3 times, I think it's more than well worth it. He's a really good, just kind of out of nowhere OTK card. For the final fusion one, Destiny and Dragoon. Destiny and Dragoon, you don't go into too much. Mostly because overall Dogma and Plasma are better as pieces rather than as the full puzzle. And Destiny and Dragoon is really, really cool though. Once per turn you can just pop a monster your opponent controls. If it was face up, your opponent takes damage, you go to that monster's attack power. If this guy is in your graveyard during the standby phase, you can banish the Destiny Hero, special summon him. And that just makes him really useful, especially in Master Rule 4, because you can fusion summon into him, then link him off because he's a warrior for like his ult or something. Then during your standby phase, you can just banish the Destiny Hero, he comes back, and because he's being revived, he'll be going to the main monster zone instead of the extra monster zone. Really good card overall. Then finally, for the one and only Xyz, I play one number 24 Dragulus, the Vampiric Dragon. This card is really good overall. He just needs 2 level 6 monsters to go into, 2400 attack, 2800 defense. During your player's turn, you can detach an Xyz material, Book of Moon, any monster that was summoned from the extra deck. If this guy's face up, you can send 1 card your opponent controls to the graveyard. Then if he, while face up on the field, is sent from the field to the graveyard or banished, you can spell summon from that zone wherever he was, banished or graveyard, and then face down defense position. So he's really obnoxious for your opponent to deal with. He gets rid of a card. You can either Book of Moon himself or Book of Moon your opponent's monsters, so you don't have to worry about anything like really annoying and coming at you. So like if your opponent, like if you're playing against like Pendulum Magicians and they summon Ignister, you can just Book of Moon the Ignister right then and there. Don't have to worry about it. Really good card overall. Very, very useful and very easy to summon in this deck too. Makes a great defense-oriented card for this deck. So guys, that is the deck profile. What do you guys think of this fusion-focused build of Destiny Heroes? I really, really like it. It's been a lot of fun playing around with this deck, especially with Isolde being legal now in TCG. Just been having a lot of fun with it. What do you guys think? What changes would you make? Do you like the fusion build? Would you rather like play an Xyz build or a Link focused build? Because this deck, with as much as it can chum out like fodder to use as fusion and Xyz, it can also easily churn out fodder to use as Links. Link material and stuff. So what do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. I may not always reply, but I do read them. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. See you all later. Peace out and goodbye.